And one of my main reasons for doing this is that I really want to rekindle my love for reading and my passion for books. Since I was a little kid and up into high school, I was an avid reader. I just loved to read, and it was to the point where I would rather spend my time like in a library reading than hanging out with people or like making new friends. I was that kind of reader. I continued to read like into my 20s and now 30s, but I didn't really continue reading it to the same degree. And I think this is a common experience with readers, that something happens, or they like life happens, and then they kind of lose the ability to read and focus on reading for as long, and then that eventually becomes harder and harder. And even if I love reading logically, like mentally, I love to read, I find it so hard to sit down and actually read. I still find that I just cannot focus as long. So I would like to become a better reader again, and I thought, why not make videos about that process? Today we're going to be going to check out some bookstores around me, maybe some that I've never been to, and yeah, look for some books, see what we can find, just enjoy the experience, and then I will actually read the books, and I want to review them on this channel. I found this bookshelf for free. This perfectly fine, perfect condition bookshelf just sitting there, so I thought, you know what, and it wasn't too heavy, so I took it upstairs, and it fit perfectly in my tiny studio apartment. So I was pleased with this because it makes reading more pleasant when you kind of have like a little station that's just for reading, and that's what this little nook is for. And I think that reading is one of the best ways, and like pretty easy way, to improve your creativity and your communication skills and just improve your imagination. And it's kind of like a little workout for the mind. Like, it sounds like a cliche, but I think it's true that when you read, you practice imagining the scenarios, and there's parts of reading that it's not just reading the words, but reading between the lines and, solving little mysteries or understanding what the writing might mean beyond just the surface level. And it really does work out the mind, and the mind is like a muscle, so I think reading is really important for flexing that muscle. And it's interesting because I think people do read a lot, maybe even more than they have in the past. It's just that they're not necessarily reading books or sitting down to read full books. They're reading more like shorter content online and watching videos, which it's not necessarily bad, but I think there's something to say about, because reading gives you a glimpse into someone else's perspective, or a glimpse into another world, another place, another time. I think that this can teach you a lot, not just about yourself, but about others, and in the process, I think you do become more creative and more understanding at the same time. So you can write music, or write poetry, or write books or stories, or whatever it is that you're doing. You'll have a deeper and better understanding of the world and of others, as well as yourself, through reading. So I didn't know this, but reading actually relaxes the mind and body in such a way that is better than taking a walk or listening to music. I guess because it's kind of a form of meditation, like really focusing in on what you're reading. And yeah, it apparently reduces your heart rate and relaxes your muscles. So I think that is something that would be beneficial for everyone. Everyone needs relaxation, and so if nothing else, maybe you'll join me in reading a bit more just for your mental health, mental well-being, and even physical well-being, because relaxation is very important. And one of my main reasons for doing this is that I really want to rekindle my love for reading and my passion for books, because it's something that I think is a key part of who I am and, you know, how I developed growing up. And so I'd like to revisit that and see what happens in one used bookstore, which I think you're gonna really like. Okay, let's go. So I'm pretty sure my building's elevator has the world's slowest elevator, but it does the trick. And the used bookstore that I'm going to is just a short walk away. It was a pretty gloomy fall afternoon, and I wanted to check out a new cafe that I've never been to. I just looked at my map and I saw this one, and it was really cute. It had a lot of plants and everyone was studying or reading. It was kind of a perfect setting for this. And I ordered a latte and I took it to go, and it was pretty chilly. This is the outside of the bookstore, and this bookstore is actually going to be celebrating its 50th anniversary this week, which I thought was pretty cool. It made me feel like I was part of the history of the city. And what I really liked about this bookstore is just, it gave me a feeling that I don't really get to experience anywhere else in the world. It's just this feeling of nostalgia, and something that is from my childhood is that I really liked reading in the library, and then with my parents we would always go camping up north, and we would visit this giant used bookstore. I think it was called the world's biggest bookstore. I don't know if it still exists, but it was something very incredible that, to me at least as a kid, it had like all these winding bookshelves and there were cats living in there. It's just incredible. But this bookshop had a really great diverse selection. It had everything from psychology to classic literature, poetry and plays, vintage classics, travelogues, self-help psychology, and art. Pretty much everything you could look for in a bookstore. I saw that they had a good mystery and a bit of a horror thriller section as well. Today I found this little section with a little green sofa chair, and I was really happy. So I took a seat and I was looking at a travelogue book. The travel books really caught my eye today because, and maybe because I work in an office, like a 9-to-5 kind of job, and I'm someone that does enjoy traveling and adventure. Kind of just made me want to seek the thrill of traveling again. It's something that I did a lot when I was younger. I used to like to travel alone, and I'd love to do again soon. And then the other book that I picked was a book on creativity, and I got this gift in the mail from one of my best friends, and it was really sweet. It had watercolors that did not have any plastic, so it's better for the environment and supporting an indigenous business and family. And the next day I read my book on the bus on the way to work. So that was my experience with trying to rekindle my love for reading, and I really enjoyed it, and I hope to make more videos like this. If you enjoyed my content, please like and subscribe. This is a baby channel. Normally I make videos about the creative process, and I think that reading is an essential part of the creative process and of developing our creativity and our imaginations. Thank you so much for watching, and take care.